Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
It's your president and your VP. And it's been a long time, but finally, the return of Lifetime movies, A Dude's Perspective. This time, it's going to be Holiday Heart, which is a 2000 movie that premiered on Showtime. So it was a made-for-cable TV movie, and due to our criteria, it counts.
Yep. This movie is just it's great. It's like one of the best ones we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because we've done Happy Face Killer, and that was like a really good Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was the Tiffany Amber Thiessen movie that we did.
Yeah, she fought alone.
But this one is, it's pretty crazy, guys. It's called Holiday Heart, and it stars Ving Rhames as, well, I'm just going to say it. He's a cross-dressing gay angel. I know that sounds weird, but if you watch the movie, you're probably going to get that same opinion.
Yeah, like I did.
He works at basically a cabaret club where he cross-dresses and does like the Temptations and Donna Sumner and some other stuff, because the movie starts off with the song My Baby, and he's doing a rendition of it, and then he goes home and there's a flashback of him being with his partner. And his partner tells him that he got him a house and they can live on one side and the other, and he can live on the other because it's the 80s, guys, and it's a different time period. So people, or maybe like the late 90s.
Yeah,
but
like
the flashback happens in the late 80s, and so it's a different time period, and people aren't out of the closet, so to speak.
Yeah. And so it's like they basically live on one side of the house and the other side, and then, well,
his partner ends up dying.
Yeah, it's
I think he's a policeman or something.
Yeah.
And he shows up to the funeral in his dress, Ving does. Miss Holiday, or Mr. Holiday, however you want to say it. It doesn't really matter, because both are appropriate.
Yeah.
So he shows up to the funeral and everybody gets embarrassed by him. And I'm like, why? He's just wanting to pay respects to his friend and lover of so many years. But then they show him walking down the street with one of his friends, and this little girl comes out of nowhere, and her name is Nikki. And she shows up and tells Holiday that he has to help her and her mama. And her mom's getting beat around and pushed around and slapped around by a scumbag drug dealer named Ricky.
Yeah.
And so Holiday interjects herself into this situation and brings her home to his home and tells them that they can basically live and on the other side of the duplex rent-free. Basically. And he takes Nikki shopping, and they go buy clothes. And I'm going to say something that's a little offensive here, but don't get offended by it. This is what the movie says. The lady who's played by Afrae Woodard she is the Nikki's mom, and she tells Holiday, and like I said, I'm gonna say something a little offensive, but it's what the movie says. It's not my own personal opinion, guys. They say, well, I'm not gonna say it because we can get this video taken down.
Yeah.
But it's the F word used to describe gay people.
Yeah.
She says, I don't do the F word described for gay people.
Yeah.
And that's when Holiday says, well, that's good, because I don't do lazy beeps who sleep all day and don't take care of their children. It was actually a great line. And it was funny. And Holiday's got some nice quips and comebacks at times. So as time goes on, they're kind of a bit of a family. And she's improving. Nikki's mom even gets a job at the thrift shop because of Holiday. So things are looking up, right? Well, that's when Silas enters the picture.
Don't forget the scene where she like smokes a joint. Not even that.
That's coming up.
Oh yeah. No.
She has to meet Silas first before all this starts happening.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was after.
Well,
I thought it was before. Like she smokes that tiny bit. And
hold on. So it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas, right, guys? And she's a recovering drug addict. Her mom is. So there's a scene where she's in the back alley of a church, trying to score crack from the original drug dealer, Ricky. It's bad.
Yeah.
And so, but things are cool. And Holiday's still working at his cabaret club. And so Silas is dealing drugs to all the cross-dressers in the club. And he meets up with Nikki's mom. And they get together. And there's this other scene where she hits... basically, they call it the slang term for it is a roach. It's a marijuana cigarette, the last little bit of it, and she goes to hit it right, and then she freaks out and starts crying, and it spirals her into drug abuse shortly thereafter.
And it's like this is the only part of the film I don't find believable, because it's like there are certain instances where yes, that can happen. But I just don't find it believable that just that tiny bit of marijuana caused her to go into this downward
I think
spiral.
it's meant to parlay onto the myth that it's supposedly a gateway drug that leads you into harder drugs. Maybe they were going that route with it.
Maybe. I don't know.
So anyways, she meets up with Silas and they start a relationship and they begin to cut Holiday out, including a part where Silas threatens Holiday with a gun, guys. And Holiday's sobbing because it breaks his heart that he's no longer in Nikki's life. And Nikki just basically throws him under the bus, too. Everybody craps on this man. And so he goes on with his life. And as time goes on, things progress worse and worse. And Nikki's mom is spiraling bad, guys.
Yeah.
And Silas, believe it or not, although he's a drug dealer, is actually a decent guy.
Yeah.
Who was trying to get a house for them, and so that they could live together and be together. But she let the drugs influence her so much that she leaves Silas, who understands that he can't take care of Nikki. So he goes to Holiday and makes a deal with him to look after him.
Yeah.
Well, then they find she's gone, and
For like
Nikki's mom has just went completely off the deep end now.
Yeah.
And she's scoring heroin and crack, and she's doing favors for them, in quotation marks.
By the way, there's like this one part where Nikki finds her mom when she's been like living on the streets for a while. She comes back home and she's like trying to steal something. She's like, "Mom," and then she turns around, looking like a drug gremlin and all that. She's like, "Yes." Like,
yeah, it was a little
legit,
creepy.
like legit. She's like, "I must steal something to get my drugs."
It's a heartbreaking scene in a way too, guys, because she's after a necklace that was given to her by Silas, and so
it was actually given to Nikki,
who had become accustomed to her mom stealing things from her, just hands it over. And Nikki graduates from elementary school, and she's like the valedictorian of her class. And this is all because of Holiday. Like I said, This man is an angel. He puts up with so much, and he just keeps going with it. And they have this big fight scene between Nikki's mom and Holiday. And he makes this Oscar-worthy speech about... I can't go into great detail on it because it's kind of a graphic thing, but something really, really bad happened to him in jail. And the only
Juvie,
reason
technically,
why...
yes. And he was 16.
He was still, because it was murder, son, he was in
Yeah.
jail,
Oh.
not juvie.
Oh.
Something very, very bad happens to him in jail. And it's because he killed the man that was beating his mama. And then his mama didn't want nothing to do with him no more. And then he says that he likes the way that God made him. And he's proud of who he is. And it's just a tremendous heart-wrenching speech. And it really shows just what kind of an actor that Ving Rhames is capable of being. So it continues on, right? And as I said, Nikki brings up the fact that when she was like 7 years old, she got a bike given to her for Christmas from the shelter. But her mom stole it and sold it for drugs. So Holiday gets a bike. The same bike. And after all this time, Nikki's mom is finally tired of being a drug addict loser.
Oh, don't forget that, like, Holiday, he was actually a boxer.
Yeah, that's an important point too. Holiday is a boxer, and they show like boxing trophies and stuff,
like world class.
And
then the rookie, he tries to go toe to toe in like a fight with Holiday, who's a world class boxer, and he completely just like knocks him out. He's just like knocks him out.
But like I said, as time goes on, Nikki's mom is now tired of being a drug addict loser, and she goes to Holiday at the club. And Holiday has gotten the bike, and she wants to come home finally and clean up. So they're getting ready to leave. But see, now before that, this is what's really bad, guys. This shows you how bad the drugs can get, okay? Because there's a scene where Nikki's mom is in a crack den with another drug dealer.
Ricky.
And she's getting ready to perform favors for him for drugs. Well, Nikki shows up and sees what's happening. And the drug dealer doesn't want Nikki's mom no more. He wants that 11-year-old girl. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about it.
She does this smart thing and kicks him below the belt.
And runs out. And Nikki's mom gets beat up for it. And this leads towards the end here, guys, where she eventually, she's got the bike, and she's getting ready to get in the car with Holiday. But Ricky, he beats him up, but Holiday fights him off. And then Ricky gets in his car, and you see a slow motion scene of where the bike transitions out of the shot, and it falls over. And we've learned that Nikki's mom indeed got killed. Mm. And she's buried next to Chester, who was Holiday's partner. And so they visit her grave, and Silas shows back up after some time. And he tells Holiday and Nikki that he's got a surprise for them when they get back from Paris. Now, it seems that Nikki's mom always wanted two parents for Nikki. Well, now she's got one. And that's how the movie ends.
Oh, yeah, don't forget, there's a little bit... So, earlier on in the scene, he shows back up, and he got Nikki in N64, which kind of dates the movie, because...
Yeah.
N64 came out in, like, 96, so there you go. It's like relatively new at the time. And so, what happens is Nikki and Silas are playing Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Which was, like, one of the launch titles for the game. And then they hand Holiday the controller, and then all of a sudden, he's playing Mario 64. They don't show them, like, taking out the cartridge and putting in Mario 64. No, they just keep... It's like a very obvious continuity error. I'm starting to sound a little bit like CinemaSins here, but it's like very obvious. And even Dad said that. It's very obvious.
But overall, guys, this one is a really great one. We found it on Tubi, which is a streaming app that you can get for free. I think it's still there. And you can probably find it on DVD. I know that my friend Kevin told me that you can find that he had it on DVD. So if you guys want to search that out, there it is. Final rating for this one. It was a really great one for me. And I really enjoyed everything about it. And I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to like it. But by the way, shout out to Prim's Hood Cinema, which is a YouTube channel where he covered it. And he's really funny, and you guys should check him out. So, plugging other channels, too. Final rating for me is a whopping 4.5 out of 5. What say you?
A 4 out of 5.
So that gives this one 4.25 out of 5 for it, guys. But of course, if you have seen Holiday Heart and you think that it is the worst TV movie that was ever made, well, that's your opinion, and you're wrong. You're definitely wrong. But hey, as always, just remember, we're just
two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't.
So, having said all that, there's only one thing left to do, guys, and that is, well, first of all, we'll have some other things coming up later this week. It'll be Monday and Tuesday when I finally have some more time off to be able to do these, and we'll get some more stuff out for you guys. What do we got on the agenda? Oh, yeah.
Grandma's Boy.
We've got I Love This Movie. Grandma's Boy is coming. And we've got I Hate This Movie, the Emoji Movie coming.
Yeah. Shout out to the YouTube channel Mischievous Muppets. I personally know him from school. That he's the one who suggested it, so thank you for that. Thank you for torturing us.
But as always, guys, we'll see you guys next time on the next episode, and it's the return of I Love This Movie. So get stoked, get excited for that, and probably going to try to get the rest of the Boy Meets World out very soon too, so we can get into Girl Meets World and finish the entire Boy Meets World saga up. And so, yeah, things are, we're going to have some really cool content for you guys in the near future. And I guess that's about it for this one. So, without further ado, of course, peace and love from Denny and Son.
Bye.